Listen to this quick clip that really impacts the stock market in terms of next year.
No change. The Federal Reserve maintaining rates in the range of 5.25% to 5.5%, but signaling they will cut rates next year while still keeping the door open for any future rate hikes on the table. Officials see cutting rates by 75 basis points next year, implying 3 rate cuts next year. Breaking that down, 5 officials see 2 cuts next year, 6 see 3 cuts, and 4 see 4 cuts. Looking ahead to 2025, officials anticipate cutting rates 4 more times. These projections coming as the Fed sees inflation dropping to 2.4.
Pause it right there. We are seeing and predicting right here from the Fed some dramatic rate cuts coming starting next year, and even then predicting going into 2025 as they are finally starting to see inflation cool down. And what we did see in terms of the markets was an influx of buying pressure coming into the general economy. And quickly, if we do take a look at that and take a look specifically talking about Palantir right here, before we get too far into the nitty gritty of all what's going on, we do have the global markets that are sitting basically up about over 1% on a day, and basically everything finished in the green. Today's going to be an interesting day as we continue, and specifically looking at Palantir, we have a lot to talk about. So if you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor, just collecting on the data and dispatching it to you. Now, talking about Palantir Technologies right here, let's talk about what we got going on the screen. 1787, we see about this 2% influx, buying pressure coming here in terms of the end of the day at about 52 million in terms of trading volume. Now, in the short term, what Palantir has established is this interesting trading pattern here at the 18s, and recently established support there after those Q3 earnings were reported. And with that being said, this area right here, which was previously a support level, is now a short-term resistance level. We've seen this as we've tested this before, but Palantir, if the stock market continues to have a large buying influx into the markets, we could see Palantir breaking this $18 resistance in the near term, possibly getting back here up even into the 20s. And remember, Palantir recently set its 52-week year-to-date high at that 21.85. Quickly looking at options expirations by the end of the week right here, we have a ton of call volume, specifically looking at that $18 and that $18.50 strike price. So make sure you guys take note of that and keep an eye on the options volatility in terms of the strike prices coming up here at expirations at the end of the week. Now, Palantir announces a very large partnership in terms of a renewal, and this is here with UniCredit. And even with this being said, the company is working with UniCredit for an additional 5 years, and this is great because they are utilizing their actual financial institution, utilizing the Palantir Foundry operating system. And Palantir has many different systems that can help improve these businesses in terms of efficiency and also just bringing effectiveness overall. You have Foundry, Gotham, Apollo, and even the AIP software. So the fact that they're diversifying the actual software that they are selling, and we're seeing this with the renewal of partnerships, and of course with that recent partnership with Plascred the day before, Palantir is continuing to diversify in terms of a commercial perspective. And talking about that, with this actual partnership and with the stock movement that we have seen for Palantir, we're seeing lots of trading volume with PLTR. This means a lot of volatility is ahead of. And talking about that specifically here, you can see that even 7 million shares of Palantir stock was changing in hands just with the recent news here of the actual partnership with UniCredit. And talking about that, a lot of people asking, in terms of Palantir, comparing to other top AI stocks like NVIDIA, it's hard to directly compare these two stocks. And the reason being is because they are basically in 2 different areas in terms of maturity and also in terms of industrial standards. Now with NVIDIA, why NVIDIA has really been exploding and has been up even over here 225% year over year right now is because they are taking a large bet into the AI future from a hardware perspective. On the vice versa side for Palantir, they are looking to capitalize on the AI AI software side of things, and they can benefit from this area as we've seen an explosion not only in their valuation in terms of market cap, but also in terms of their customer basis. And like we've talked about with their artificial intelligence platform, the AIP platform, I think is a great catalyst for Palantir going into the future, as the company has claimed that the number of customers using AIP has tripled in the previous quarter, and added that almost 300 here organizations had used the product within 5 months of launch. And Palantir is basically learning and working to increase its reach to possible clients with the AIP Bootcamp, which brings a 0 to a use case within 5 days. That's what Palantir claims, and you can test the software out for completely free, which is great because from a client's perspective, there's nothing to lose except for possible time, but no money lost in the actual trial version. So talking about that, could Palantir eventually turn out to be a top pick? Talking about the reality, is this company possibly facing a slowdown? And basically what the Motley Fool is getting at right here is one of the biggest criticisms for Palantir is its decelerated revenue growth rate. And a lot of people are utilizing and talking about this metric that Palantir had predicted a 30% increase year over year in terms of revenue, and they've already had a reduction in the actual percentage that they have reported. I think number one, I do respect the honesty, and also I think number two, Palantir is just maturing as a company. It's gone through a very big hypergrowth cycle. Look at how far it's increased in terms of valuation on the actual year to date. And with that being said, with its very, very high valuation, Palantir, I think, should slowly grow into that valuation, not just explode right into that valuation as it continues on. And then you have this issue where Palantir keeps trading at this very high multiple compared to the sales that are being reported. So I think here in the short term, and the verdict on Palantir is that yes, the price to earnings and the forward ratio is basically pretty compared to Nvidia. And this is just a great example here on it, specifically with these AI stocks, that a lot of these tech stocks do trade at a very high premium in terms of their price to sales ratios. And Palantir has traded like that from a historical perspective. But in the end, in talking about that, I think looking at the long-term growth perspective for Palantir, Data Dispatch is still remaining very bullish. There's going to be a lot of volatility here in the near future, but I think with these interest rates cuts that we are seeing, and the Fed is predicting not just in 2024, but even game predictions into 2025 with rate cuts, there's going to be an explosion, I think, of buying confidence coming back into the market, because we have been sitting and the Fed has been waiting, and even the retail and the institutional investors have been sitting for a long time waiting for those cuts to finally happen, and remaining steady right now is even bullish. So we could see an influx coming into here. The only thing that needs to be important, and also I think that investors need to realize, is that this cannot get too far ahead of itself, where we see everybody go, oh my God, get into the markets, we see rate cuts coming, and then all of a sudden we have a lot of volatility that comes with that, or we have some other types of events. So that's all that I have for you guys. Take care. Peace out. Let me know, what do you guys think about these rate hike cuts, and with PLTR, where do you see it here in the next few years? Catch up. Peace out.